After the wettest year on record in over 100 years, Exeter Floods, Cowley Bridge and the River Exe, scenes 1 to end, take 1, roll 1 on a Panasonic SDR-S7 camcord in HD HC card format on the 22nd of the 11th 2012. Sound in stereo, production company ADR Films, director ADR, cameraman ADR, that's Adam David Reynolds. Rolling in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rolling. This is how, for the past 2 days, Exeter St David's station has looked. Rather desolate, with no trains running, due to flooding on lines. With trains cancelled on the North Devon outline and London Waterloo and London Paddington line, coaches are attempting to take over the carriage of people. With winds now up to 70 miles an hour, what are we in store for? The first pub in Exeter to be flooded in 2012 on the second lot of floods, the Mill on the Exe. Now slightly clear of water, but there'll be a lot of tidying up to do. With still heavy gushes of water coming down the River Exe. Now on day 3 at St David's Station with more problems. The trains still aren't running and coaches are stepping in. With a lot of trains stood still just by Exeter St David's Station and some stuck out of city in the middle of the country. Well, as like many views across Devon, Wiltshire, Somerset and Cornwall, this morning after heavy flooding here in the area of Cowley Bridge, Exeter, fields are flooded. Farmers warn there will be a high rise in food in 2013, with a shortage being grown in 2012 due to being the wettest year on record in over 100 years. This is the second pub to be flooded in Exeter, and many houses have been flooded too in Devon and Somerset, Wiltshire and Cornwall. Some areas have been hit 3 times this year, and ADR Films have just been informed by another media source a woman in her 20s was killed in Weston Way last night after a tree fell on her and injuring 2 others. The woman, believed to be in her mid-20s, was believed to be homeless. ADR Films would like to send out the thoughts with the family and friends at this time. Following the train tracks, this is where much of the train line is flooded, causing problems into Exeter and North Devon. Train lines in the area of Cowley Bridge, Exeter, has been brought to a standstill. A train travelled to train travel in North Devon and London Paddington and Cornwall. Local residents has informed ADR Films that a landslide has also stopped trains running from London Waterloo to Exeter. There has been a landslide east of Honiton near Yeovil. South West Trains, Virgin Trains and Great Western Trains apologise for any inconvenience due to the weather and say that it could take up to 3 or 4 weeks for the train lines to be relayed, having been lifted by water. This part of the train line is completely underwater. And other areas where the track has lifted slightly. Not normally wet here. On the horizon you can see the water in the middle falling onto the railway line and then lower off the railway line. And water still flows onto the line over here. Lying just below Stoke Woods, in the Cowley area, water comes gushing down still onto the track. The Environment Agency and ADR Films are warning the pedestrian and walker that it could be wet underfoot and very slippery for some times, so watch your steps. The train companies are frantically trying to pump water off some train lines. To save extensive work on relaying tracks. And this is one of the big worries for the train companies, with water getting in up underneath the tracks and slightly lifting the tracks. Here can be seen one bit of damage to the track near the Cowley Bridge Inn, where water has destroyed it. As well as ADR films, the BBC and ITV are covering this story. With emergency services working around the clock too. In the city centre, near Buller statue, Exeter College and the church, this 20-foot wall had collapsed. It was a retaining wall where the water just could not hold back any longer and the wall collapsed. ADR Films has been informed that nobody has been injured as a result of this. The Met Office has informed ADR Films that there could be more rain yet to come. So if you're a pedestrian, take care near Exeter College. This could happen again, and some paths are closed. Fortunately, most buildings and landmarks in the area have not been affected. And most people go about their daily work as usual, sticking posters on signs. warnings and helpful information stating all trains will be replaced by coaches and buses. Western Way, Exeter. The site that might give some viewers the heebie-jeebies. The site where the homeless girl in her 20s was camping, where she died in a tent after this tree falling on her. She was perhaps voted Exeter's best, most attractive looking girl of a big issue seller. The remains of her tent and her last few belongings. Poor girl. The tree came down in the heavy flooding and the 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Day 5, and with rain falling again heavily after much flooding already, these floods could linger as ground is fully saturated. Many local roads in the West Country have been under up to 5 feet of water. Here in Exeter on the quayside, footpaths are flooded. The area can be seen between the brambles and the grass, which is completely covered under water. But the swans are enjoying it. Insurance companies will no longer insure coastal houses and property that has been flooded previously in the West Country. The River Exe banks are completely full and overflowing now, but Exeter City Council informs us that the new River Exe flood prevention scheme is working well, and people in the areas of St Thomas should not be affected, as they were in the 1960s. The River Exe near the quay in Exeter is up 4 feet. And all pedestrian links round the quay are closed due to the flood water still lingering.
What are they?
With this bin now being about 2 feet underwater. And these homes have been lucky so far. Here's some homes at Exeter on the River Exe. They say this flood prevention scheme won't last and hold out forever. Another 5 feet of water and they could be under. Up 4 feet of water, the River Exe in Exeter, the footpath from St David's Station to round the quay side is completely underwater, around 4.5 feet now they say. Under the old Roman road at the end of the West Quarter in Exeter is flooded slightly. This old Roman road, before Exe Bridge was constructed, used to connect St Thomas with Exeter city centre. Although gaining in popularity now, the first year, 2012, of the Exeter Christmas market in the Cathedral Green had seen no trade in 2 of the 4 days that it's been open. Exeter, Devon, UK floods, the second lot of floods this year, in the Cowley Bridge, River Exe and city centre and quay areas. That was a week-long running film starting on the 22nd of the 11th 2012 by ADR Films, that's Adam David Reynolds, and that's a wrap.